In the summer of 1683, nothing stood between Vienna and a vast Ottoman army but its walls. One city stood in the path of one of the most powerful empires in the world, and if Vienna fell, Europe would lose far more than a fortified city. Vienna. Vienna was not just a city, it was the capital of the Habsburgs and the administrative heart of the Holy Roman Empire. To take it would mean a political, military, and religious blow at the center of Europe. The Ottoman Empire. In the east, Sultan Mehmed IV ruled the Ottoman Empire, but the man leading its great campaign was Grand Vizier Kara Mustafa Pasha, the most powerful figure in the state after the Sultan himself. Kara Mustafa saw Vienna as a rare opportunity. If the city fell, the seat of a rival empire would come under Ottoman power. So he prepared a vast army for Central Europe. In the spring of 1683, the army marched west from Edirne. Soldiers, horses, cannon, and supply wagons, all moving toward Vienna. At first, the news reached the city through merchants and travelers. Then, families began fleeing from villages along the road. Finally, messengers arrived with news no one could ignore. The Ottoman army was coming to Vienna. Inside the city, the gates were closed. Soldiers and civilians began strengthening the defenses. Emperor Leopold I left Vienna before the Ottomans arrived, seeking help from his allies. He placed the defense of the city in the hands of Count Ernst Rüdiger von Starhemberg. Starhemberg was not expected to defeat the Ottoman army. He had only one task: hold out until a relief army arrived. Then, in July, the Ottoman forces reached Vienna. The siege begins. Kara Mustafa ordered his tents raised around the city. Cannon were deployed. Vienna's gates were shut and the siege began. He did not want to enter a ruined city. He wanted Vienna itself, its wealth, influence, and power. So at first, he did not rely on one massive assault that could reduce it to rubble. The bombardment weakened the defenses, but the most dangerous weapon was working where the towers could not see it. A few days later, the defenders began hearing sounds beneath their feet. They were not horses. They were not cannon. Ottoman engineers were digging underground. Underground war. At first, the sounds were faint and broken, but night after night, they grew closer. Ottoman engineers were digging tunnels beneath the fortifications. Then, they packed them with gunpowder, hoping to blast the walls apart from below. Once the defenders understood what was happening, they began digging counter-tunnels of their own. The ground beneath Vienna became another battlefield. Sometimes, the two sides were separated by nothing more than a thin wall of earth. Then it collapsed, and soldiers found themselves face to face inside narrow passages with no room to retreat. Above ground, the bombardment never stopped. Whenever a mine exploded beneath a fortification, part of it collapsed. Ottoman soldiers rushed toward the breach. The defenders fought them back. Then they spent the entire night rebuilding what had been destroyed before the next attack began. But Vienna's darkest days were still ahead. Hunger, disease, and exhaustion were spreading, and time was running out. Could Vienna survive? And what would happen when help finally arrived?